Hi YouTube. I did my pregnancy story with Apple, and so I wanted to do my pregnancy story where story with the twins. So let's see. The way I found out I was pregnant is I remember I was at work one day and it was December, I want to say either December 7th or December 9th. I was at work and I used to work where we get people ready for tax season, and so I remember we were really busy because taxes, people start doing their taxes in January, and so I remember we were really busy, and I was the new person, like in my area. I was a new person, and I remember my boss was talking to my other coworker, and they were really good friends for a very long time. And I remember she whispered something, and I heard kind of like the name Jessica, and I was sitting on my little cubicle desk part, and I remember like I heard that she whispered the name Jessica, and they were behind me off to the side, and I remember just thinking, oh my gosh, they're talking about me, and it hurt me. Like I thought they were talking about me, and so I felt all sentimental, like I was hurt and I wanted to cry. And I remember staring at my computer and I was like, who's mommy talking to, huh? I remember staring at my computer and thinking, why am I so emotional? And I was like, oh no. Like usually I get my period like not exactly at 30 days, but at like 28, 27 days. I was like, uh-oh. So that day at lunch, I went to the store. I got a sandwich. I remember I got a panini, I think I got, and I got like the cheapest pregnancy test they had. And so it was only one of them, and it was $5. So I remember it was a Thursday, and before I got home I texted my cousin and I was like, oh no, I think I'm pregnant. And so I did want a baby after Apple, like around that time, but I kind of wanted to wait until 2012, like later on in 2012, and this was December 2011. And so I came home Thursday night, and I remember my cousin had like a little birthday dinner that day, and Blake wasn't home yet, so I took the pregnancy test and it was positive. So I text my cousin, I text Blake's sister, and I text her because her baby had just been born. He was like not even a month old, I don't think. And I text her and she was like, oh my gosh, you are. And I text a couple of my friends. And so yeah, that was a Thursday. And so I didn't tell Blake. I texted all my friends, and while we were at my cousin's dinner, I remember just texting everyone, and he was like, what are you texting about? And I didn't want to tell him. And so Friday morning I was like, I think I'm gonna take a pregnancy test right before we both had to go to work. And he was like, okay. I was like, well, I haven't got my period. And he was like, well, isn't it supposed to be a couple more days? I was like, yeah, but I don't know. So I took a test that morning. I didn't really take it. I had taken it the night before, and I just told him I went and I bought another one, and then I showed it to him. He was like, well, this is the cheap ones, why don't you go buy the first response? And those are like $15 a box, and you do get 2 of them, but that's a lot of money. And so I was like, okay, fine, I'll go buy a better brand one. And so I told him that I went on lunchtime that day. I said, I already went and bought one and it is positive. And he was like, oh, okay. But I hadn't, I knew I was pregnant with just that cheap pregnancy test. And so yeah, that was it. I mean, putting all these apps, like all these pregnancy apps. And this was, I guess I was like 4 weeks and 5 days or something like that when I found out. And I didn't tell my parents yet. I wanted to wait, I guess. I was kind of scared, but then I also kind of wanted to wait just a little bit longer. And the thing is, they were going on a vacation, and I didn't want them to be upset that the fact that Apple was already 4 years old, and I was back in school, I was back work, everything was okay for us. It was just the 3 of us. She was old already, and so I didn't want to ruin their vacation. So they went on their vacation January 6th, and so I remember like a day before that, I was bleeding a lot, and I remember looking up the symptoms of a miscarriage, and it was like back pain. And I wasn't having any back pain yet, but I was having like stabbing pains, like in my stomach. Like I felt like someone was stabbing a knife in my stomach and like sliding it to the side or something. And so I told Blake, and he was like, you need to go to the hospital. And that was Thursday night of January, I want to say it was like January 5th or 6th. And then so my parents left Friday night, which was January 6th, I believe. And then I was still bleeding that day, kind of. And so January 7th, I decided to go to the emergency room. And I went by myself. Blake and Apple were here at home. And, you know, I was in the emergency room. And they said, make sure you drink a lot of water. You don't want to get a vaginal ultrasound. So I was drinking a lot of water. And I remember the ultrasound technician came in. They did a lot of blood work on me. And she's like, okay, we're going to do an ultrasound. And at the time, I was probably around 8 weeks and 4 days already. And she did an ultrasound. I remember as I was laying there, my back was hurting. I was like, okay, for sure, this is a miscarriage. And I remember she had the screen towards her on the ultrasound. And I was just looking up at her, and she just kept making motions like, you know, like sighing, like, oh man, you know. I was thinking she was going to say I had a miscarriage. So she was like, my back was hurting. I was like, okay, for sure this is a miscarriage. And she said, I see your bladder is really full. Do you want to go use the bathroom real quick? I was like, sure. She's like, okay, and when you come back, I'll show you the images. And I was like, okay. So I remember I went to the bathroom. I tried hurrying up, and I came back, and she turned the screen towards me as I was laying down. And she's like, okay, well, here you see, I think she said, here you see the sac or something. I forgot what she said. She said, and there's one baby, and there's another baby. And I was like, what? And I just remember covering my face like this with both of my hands. And she was, congratulations, you're having twins. And it's funny because growing up, I was a huge fan of the Olsen twins. Like, I knew everything about the Olsen twins. I watched every movie. I watched every episode of Full House. I was just obsessed with the Olsen twins. And I always wished that, you know, I had a missing twin out there somewhere, you know, that we got separated at birth. I swear, I always wanted a twin. And it's funny because when she said, congratulations, you're having twins, I was like, I'm having my own twins. Like, oh my gosh, it was so unreal, but I was so happy at the same time. So she's baby A, which was Bella, was really tiny. Like, it was just like a little fuzz. And then baby B, which was Malin, was like a little bean looking thing. And so she put me up the picture, she put me back in the wheelchair, and I just remember staring at the ultrasound and thinking, oh my gosh, like, I cannot wait to call Blake. And the thing is, I left my phone back in like the waiting room, like where they have you waiting for someone to come do your blood work and all that stuff. And so I got back, and I didn't get really good service in there. And so I called him, and I was like, it was already like 9 a.m. And I called him, and I said, what are you doing? And he was like, I'm vacuuming. And I was like, oh, okay, sit down. And he was like, okay, I'm sitting down. I was like, the doctor said there's 2. And he was quiet, and he was like, I think he said 2 what? And I was like, there's 2 babies. He's like, what? Are you sure? And he didn't really show any expression, you know, he wasn't really like, oh my gosh, or anything. And I was like, yeah, I have a picture. And then so the doctor came in, and I remember texting all of my friends, and everybody texts back right away, like a bunch of like little, like the little emoji faces, like, you know, like, what, are you sure? And then one of my friends called me, and she's like, I'm at work, but oh my gosh. I was like, I know. And then so yeah, so I remember I texted Blake's sister, and she called me. She's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. She's like, well, it was bound to happen to one of us because they're twins. And I was like, yeah, well, I gotta go, the doctor's here. And so I came home, and, you know, I showed Blake the pictures, and that's when we told Apple she's having 2 babies. And I remember I showed her the ultrasound, and she pointed to baby A, and she said, I think that one's a girl. And then she pointed to baby B, and she said, and I think that one's a boy. And it's funny because when I found out I was pregnant with just 1 baby, and I said, if you ever wanted a baby, what would you want? And she was like, I want a boy and a girl at the same time. And so this was before we even knew we were having twins. This was when I was like 5 weeks pregnant. And so we remember we went to breakfast that day. And yeah, I mean, ever since that day, I started feeling tired a lot. It's just, you know, I started looking up all the symptoms, and it was a crazy ride, I guess. And so at 16 weeks, my doctor put me on modified bed rest. And I guess it was just because my height, you know, I'm 4'11", and I was gaining weight super fast. I was getting so tired. So she put me on modified bed rest. And yeah, I mean, I was just at home, just trying to relax. I was so miserable though, like starting at 20 weeks, just because I didn't like being pregnant, you know. My back always hurt. I started feeling so tired so early in my pregnancy with Apple, you know. It wasn't until like with Apple, she was born November 25th, and on Halloween, October 31st, I was out trick-or-treating still, you know, with my cousins. And so I could still walk. But at like 20 weeks, I remember me and my friend went shopping in San Francisco because she was getting married and she wanted a little nice dress. And I was so tired, and I was only about 12 weeks, I want to say, and I was already so tired. So I was just miserable. And so it was like I didn't have any more bleeding after that. Everything was just, I would count week by week by week. I did have to go get ultrasounds every 2 weeks. I was going to my doctors every 2 weeks, and everything always looked normal. And we found out that it was a boy and a girl at 15 weeks. I got the 30-day ultrasound. And so ever since then, we started stocking up on diapers and, you know, everything that we could. We started buying outfits. We bought their cribs. We bought their car seats. Or actually, my aunts bought me their car seats like at 30 something weeks. But by like 25 weeks, I already had a bunch of clothes for them. I had about 13 boxes, those really big boxes of diapers from Babies R Us, and bottles. I was trying to just prepare myself. And yeah, so I mean, my family did help a lot. My cousin bought me a lot of stuff from my registry. She bought me their co-sleeper. My parents bought us their bed sets. And yeah, so let's see what else. So like around 30 weeks, I think it was in the summertime, I was wearing the same pair of shorts every day, or sweats. And I was wearing like big t-shirts. Like my cousin wears those big tees that go all the way down to your knees. And I had some of those, and they were like, you could probably see my belly from underneath. I was huge. And I ended up weighing, I think, 162. I went from 115 to 162. I think my last appointment was 36 weeks and 4 days, something like that, and it was 162. And you know, just in the summertime, it was horrible. I hated it. I would cry, and I would always get back pain, rib pain. I hate thinking back to those times. I hated being pregnant. I couldn't wait for them to be born. They were born July 25th. I was exactly 37 weeks, and my legs were swollen, my feet were swollen, everything was swollen, you know. It was just horrible. But you know, I would read on all these blogs. It's so worth it, ladies. You can make it. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. They were, Malin was 6'4", and he was 18.5 inches, and he didn't have any NICU time or anything. Bella was 5'5", and she was 17.5 inches, I believe, either 17 or 17.5 inches. She didn't get any NICU time either because she was under 6 pounds. They did have to do like a car seat test on her, and it was just, I guess we had to strap her in her car seat, and they had to take her away for an hour and put these monitors on her. I guess it was just to make sure that her heart rate was steady while she was in a car seat before she went home. And yeah, we were there for 4 days because I did have to have a C-section. It was a scheduled C-section. My doctor wouldn't let me go past 38 weeks, I think she said. And so I decided to do it right at 37 weeks because my uncle's birthday, which is like my other dad, his birthday's July 24th. So their birthday's July 25th, and they were born at 7:52 in the morning. And the doctor said that I had so much bleeding that usually she says she takes her time with twins. You know, she takes one out and then calmly takes the other one out. But she said she had to rush in and take the other twin out like as soon as possible because I was bleeding so much. So I did have to have a blood transfusion, and I was there for 4 days. I mean, I was scared during, you know, for the whole C-section because of the spinal thing that you get, but I didn't even feel a thing. I remember I was in the room and I was shaking, and the anesthesiologist was like, okay, here we go. And I was holding my nurse's hands, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I hope this doesn't hurt. And I just remember feeling a poke and then like pressure going up my spine, and all of a sudden I felt cold but warm at the same time, and then I didn't feel anything, like I was completely numb. So they laid me down and they had to pick my legs up, and everything happened so quick. And then, you know, I remember telling him, like Blake was showing me the babies off to my left side, and I felt like I couldn't breathe, and I told the anesthesiologist, I was like, I feel like I can't breathe. And he put like the little tube thingies in my ear, and I passed out. And then Blake, I guess he was the one that went after the nurses to make sure they were okay, and they got their first bath. And yeah, I remember waking up and he came back and he was like, how are you feeling? I was like, how much did they weigh? That was the first thing I asked him. And then he told me their weights, and he was like, they're fine. They're sleeping, and they brought them in for me. I just remember feeling so tired and in pain. Not really in pain, but like sore. And like around 1 o'clock that afternoon, they moved me into like a stable room. I guess my blood pressure was really low, and they didn't want to move me into like just like the recovery room just yet. So I was there until like about 1 o'clock, and then that's when Apple and my mom came, and Apple was like, Mommy, and she got to hold them, and she didn't want to leave the hospital. When my mom was going back home, she didn't want to leave. She cried, but just those 4 days are so long. I missed Apple so much. I just wanted to be back home. And yeah, I mean, we came back home, and the baby slept woke up every 4 hours. It was hard at first. The first couple of weeks, it was hard for me. And eventually, just after like a month or two, I started getting used to them, and they've been healthy kids. They haven't been sick yet. They will be 24 weeks tomorrow, and they've been, you know, I haven't had any problems with them. We did have a problem with Bella at first. She couldn't poop right, but that got, you know, that went away after like 3 weeks. And they haven't been colicky, nothing, no problems with them. I've been so blessed to have such good babies. I mean, it's hard when they both cry, and it's getting harder now because they both want to be up like him, and you know, they want to be held. Bella right now is taking a nap. She's really good with naps, but he's just awake. Malin, look at the camera. Look at the camera, baby. Look at the camera. Look, who's that boy right there? Look, Malin. Hey. Ooh. Do you see yourself in the little screen? And so yeah, I mean, I've been so blessed to have such good healthy babies. Come, Mama, kiss you. Come, Mama, kiss you. Malin. You stinky boy, you stinky boy. He's such a mama's boy. So yeah, I mean, Apple's the most wonderful sister to them. And yeah, I mean, right now they're sleeping throughout the whole night. They wake up once, and so I feed one, Dad feeds another one. They wake up at the same time, and that's it. They go to bed around 8:30, wake up around, depending on what time they ate last, but it's usually anywhere between 1 and 4 in the morning. And then they wake up again around 6:30, because that's when I get up and I get ready to take Apple to school. And so sometimes they'll eat at that time, and then on our drive to Apple school they fall asleep, and when we come home, like right now, they're napping. And for some reason Malin wants to be awake. So yeah, I mean, I guess that was my pregnancy with the twins. I didn't really work out. I didn't do anything. I don't like being pregnant, so I wasn't really ever around my parents. I try to like be in my room. But yeah, I mean, that's about it. That was my pregnancy with the twins. It wasn't really, you know, I didn't take any pictures either. I probably have 30 pictures altogether, and they're probably all my baby shower pictures. But yeah, we have taken family pictures once for Christmas, right before Christmas, and that's our only family picture we have of all 5 of us. We've tried taking them with my phone, but because I'm either holding my phone or Blake's holding my phone, we can't get all 5 of us. So our only perfect nice pictures that we have are professional pictures from Picture People. Bella was born first at 7:52, and then Malin was born a couple seconds after at 7:52 as well. So they're not really any minutes apart, they're seconds apart. So yeah, I guess that's it. I will talk to you guys soon. Say bye, Malin. Say bye.